I hope that is working. I don't want to read a whole fanfic again. I tried it 3 times now, and it all went down. I deleted the first one by accident. I deleted the second one by accident. I deleted the third one because there wasn't any tone. Yeah, and so I'm going to try that now. Maybe you remember I made that started singing and got, I believe, 6 likes now. So I decided to do what I said. And yeah, the fanfic is about Zarry, of course. Shut up. And Harry has a hair fetish. Fetish? Oh boy, I don't know. And Zane gets a haircut. So let's get started. Start reading. Okay, 2 sides. Today's the day. Zane chirped at Nairota's eyes, and Nairota's eyes. Continue. Sorry, my fuck keeps falling. Today's the day. Zane chirped at Nairota's eyes, continuing to chew on his burger. You look at least 5 years younger. Louis mocked, typing away on his phone. Come on, it's important. I mean, I'm losing some of my hair. The black-haired lad exaggerated. No offense, but I bet even Lux knows your haircut date by now. Liam sighed and walked around the table to plop down next to the blonde boy. We know you just want to tease Harry, Louis added, casting him a knowing look. Zane blushed the slightest bit, and just then his curly-haired boyfriend walked through the door, talking on the phone. Subconsciously, fuck you! That fucking word. I have. That word. That. I don't know how it's pronounced. Subconsciously. He licked his lips, watching the guy walk across the room. Yeah, sure, I see you when we get back from France. France? We're going tomorrow, I know. Okay, bye. Yes, see you soon. Harry bobbled on. Zane purposely glided his hand through his thick hair that lied messily on his head. Instantly, the guide shot on. The youngest out of the band had ended the call and was now examining him intensively. He knew what he was doing to him, but he liked teasing him too much. Ignoring the persistent stare into the side of his face, he rubbed his chin, feeling the short stubbles. You're going to have to shave today, Zane. Then you'll be all done for tomorrow. We can't let you go too wide, Caroline told him. Why, I like it, Harry interrupted, and the boys merely rolled their eyes. Zane, however, smirked, and just then Lou Teste called, Malik, time for the haircut. He stood up and slowly made his way to the door, well aware of his boyfriend following him. Don't take longer than an hour, please, Harry, don't hold him up. Liam bit, reminding the others of the radio interview. They still had the comment didn't make Harry stop, though, and they left the room. Zane kept facing forward until arms encircled his face, making him stop. He murmured and felt lips against the side of his neck. You didn't remind me that the day was today, Harry hushed, kissing him just below his ear. All of the boys knew he merely responded and was answered with a chuckle. I think I suppressed it. You know exactly how hot I find you right now. You were mopping around last time too, and then you ended up loving it. Zane reminded, smiling as he faced Harry. Da! He heard him mutter before Harry glinted his fingers. glided his fingers through his black mop and pulled him into a heated kiss. Fucking pervs. His boyfriend pinned him to the wall at the main entrance as his tongue tapped the other lad's lip. Instantly, Zane's hands grabbed a hold of the other guy's shirt and opened his mouth to let his tongue join with Harry's. Zane, are you coming? Lou's voice ripped them out of their trunks. Yeah, he barely managed to breathe. We're sharing a room tonight and you're not shaving until tomorrow, do you hear me? Harry ordered and he laughed but nodded. Picking the curly-haired boy on the lips, he pushed past him, earning himself a step on the bum and went to look for Lou. Ah, finally Zane. So do you want anything in particular? She asked him and he shrugged. Surprise me, he joked, sitting down into the chair and leaving her to work magic with the scissors. She talked to him during the process and he responded as he usually did, with very short sentences. You're a fairy, Zane. After about 20 minutes, she announced, there we go, all done. She had applied a bit of fabric into his hairstyle and let him turn around. Sweet, he remarked, admiring how his newly cut hair was shorter by the side and the back of his head. Harry was sitting next to him on the couch, his knee nervously bouncing up and down as he tried to take his mind off things. Jesus, Harry, stop it! You're making me all giddy. Louis barked and he apologized. Just then he heard the door open and his head snapped around to find his boyfriend standing there and he couldn't find words to explain it. And he couldn't find words to explain what he saw. Fuck! He gasped and Zane asked, do you approve? You're like sex on legs, mate. You're like sex on legs, mate, he replied before blushing insanely. And I turned around and Wolf whispered, Lou should be rewarded. I mean, she can make Malik him descend and not leave him looking like a homeless man, the Irish mocked. Nice, mate, Liam complimented, but Harry was lost in his own little world. Zane was already the definition of sex, but the stare always set Harry over the edge. Oh, come on. I read so much of this shit today, and that's just insane. The stumbles scattered over the maid chin gave him a slight rude title that complimented the way his voice would drop several octaves when he climaxed. The answer was like his own diary. It was messily sticking up in all directions whenever he had just gotten up, a habit his boyfriend had developed for that whenever he was stressed or annoyed he would thread his hand through it and pull slightly on the edges. Neat but flat hair meant a relaxing day with cuddling or grabbing a cup of coffee, but not moving much. But Harry had never seen Zane's hair like this. Has? Hello? The half Pakistani was calling him and he closed his jaw. Yes, sorry. What? We are leaving, he was informed. Oh, definitely in my room, he agreed and grabbed Zane by the hip. No, radio interview, remember? Alright. He muttered, embarrassed, and grabbed his coat, ignoring the painful growing erection in his trousers. He spent most of the car ride staring at the side of his boyfriend's face. Harry, would you please stop being so painfully obvious? His lover whispered, and he irritatedly grabbed Zane's head. Oh, he whispered. Wait. Harry, would you please stop being so painfully obvious? His lover whispered, and he irritatedly grabbed Zane's hand and made him feel the little problem that wasn't so easily ignored. Oh. He half moaned, half acknowledged. Try to ignore it. Try not thinking of me. Oh, you're being so helpful. He responded, sarcastically rolling his eyes. Why don't you help me? He sarcased and Zane smiled. I wonder if I'm the one turning you on or if it's just my hair. It's a mix, you idiot. Now stop talking to me or the boys will have to witness as I take care of my problem. I dare you, his boyfriend shouted, the smile growing. Stop it! Harry was more than thankful that they had arrived at the studio in the precise moment. He chose to sit 3 seats away from Zane to avoid any teasing. The interview rolled by easily. Cheating rumors had to be denied. Birds had to be kept upright, the tour had to be explained, and it had to be established who was still single. Then some more fan questions, and all the while he was dealing well with the fact that Zane can play with his hair. So you'll be singing Kiss You Force, am I correct? The interviewer asked, and when Leo nodded, they started. It was a reflex he couldn't stop, so his eyes wandered to his boyfriend, scratching his cheek. Damn, Zane looked so good. Harry sang his parts flawlessly but nearly choked as his bandmate decided to let the large tongue of his dart out to wet his lips before he continued to sing. He felt his boxes tighten just a bit. The last chorus of the song was his favorite part because Zane always hit those long high notes and it would send shivers down his spine. Sorry, but Knights had turned to watch as the boy dangling the reins on his neck suddenly, clearly. The sight made Harry's stomach flip and he struggled to handle the performance. He loved that neck. He loved marking it, the things they could do with that tongue. Louis jabbed him warningly in the ribs and he realized he had probably been gabbing at the hottie. Thank you so much, boys. One Direction, everybody, the radio spokesman said, and the band was free to leave. Harry was the first to be out of the building and back in the car. Can you stop being so tense? A deep voice remarked, and this pressed to his neck. A groan slipped and he instantly grabbed the person's neck and pulled him forward so he could turn his head and kiss the full lips. Has wait a bit, please. Zane broke away and Harry nodded, quickly clambering onto his seat and patiently waiting for everyone to get into the car. Seems like the receptionist liked your haircut, Zane. She kept trying to flirt with you. And I grinned and he muttered, too bad he likes sticks. What did you say, Heather? Louis asked, turning in his seat. Nothing. He merely responded as his boyfriend was desperately trying not to burst out laughing. It seemed to take ages to get back to the hotel, and then when Harry was keen to grab Zane and sneak upstairs, management wanted to give further instructions for the next day. His boyfriend was rubbing soothing circles against his back to calm him down, and after they were instructed and knew when to make an appearance the following day, they were free to go. I'm rooming with Harry, Zane announced and grabbed the key, janking him along behind him. Jetzt sind wir bei Part 2. Yay! Wow, that was a mix from German. Okay. How many parts does this shit have? Okay, I'm on 2. Now who's eager? He teased, and the order let's go. You are. I'm not. He protested as the other boy led him into the room. This will do. Zane approved and kicked off his shoes. Yeah, I bet that's the relevant thing right now, he teased, and the dark-haired lad scoffed. Shut up! In 2 long strides, his boyfriend advanced him and lashed their lips together, and Harry's hand grabbed the other's neck. His tongue rolled over Zane's bottom lip, demanding entrance, but he didn't get it. A frustrated groan made him get what he wanted. Zane was tugging angry on his shirt and he took a step back, allowing him to take it off. He moaned, watching the hazel eyes turn black with lust as they drank his torso. Before he could comprehend anything, Zane was sucking on his neck, hands rubbing furiously against his skin. You get so horny all the time, it's ridiculous, Sass, his boyfriend remarked, biting down on his pulse foot. Fuck, he gasped, feeling every nerve in his body. That's when his hand dove into the hairstyle. It threaded through the thick hair slowly, memorizing the feel of the ends against his fingertips, messaging the scalp a bit, kept pressing it, severing it, for he grabbed a wistful and janked at them. Zane yet followed by a deep moan, and every sound went straight to Harry's cock. I'm swimming around in the vagina. I'm swimming around in the vagina. I'm sorry I can't see. Let's just keep reading. I look like a bum. He hauled the shirt over Zane's head and instantly flung himself at him, missing the contact on the skin. Angry kisses were exchanged before the shorter lad bent over and began licking his collarbones. Sheesh! He panted and replaced his hands into Zane's hair. He felt the lips go lower and lower until they enclosed around one nipple. The black hand's tongue, God, his tongue, left the soft skin. Sucking on it and repeating the motion that Harry was groaning and the flesh was irritated. Get on with it, he hissed, and Zane smirked. So demanding. But nevertheless, the 20-year-old let his hand drop down his chest, teasing his abs and grabbing him through his treasures. Another curse left his lips, and the hand woven into his lower's hair clenched. Zane's lips found his other nipple and began their treatment again, with Harry was shuddering under the real holder on his spooner. Good God! It's like Ash forced to fire. That's all acting. He choked as Zane's hand began powering him. A slight bug of his lips reveals his desperate state and his mate bit down on the butt. A sharp pain seared through his chest, but simultaneously his trousers and boxers were pulled down. He quickly stepped out of them, eager for more, and was granted the silent wish. Zane's hand took hold of his leg and started jerking it in a steady place. His whole body froze, feeling the warm hands working skillfully and smoothly. Those black eyes were watching him with lust and adoration, while the wrist was flicking and toying with him. Zane's name fell from his lips, and to this he saw the boy drop to his knees in front of him, and he had to force himself not to knock him over and fuck his mouth. He was stunned from that image as Sudbury made contact with the head of his arousal. Looking down, he saw Zane inch closer to him until his chin made contact with the flushed skin. Ah, Harry slurred. Harry slurred and concentrated on not coming on the spot. I haven't shaved, baby. The gravely voice told him, and he swallowed hard. Do you enjoy this? Zane wrapped his chin and cheek all the way down to the base of his cock. His stubble slightly scratching the surface, applying friction to the... What the fuck? Just... No, don't imagine that. Don't imagine that. That's dirty. Oh, God, no. What the fuck? Holy shit, he gasped, and when his boyfriend repeated the motion, a loud groan left his throat. His cock was twitching and he cried, "What's twitching?" How do I have to imagine that? His cock was twitching and he grinded up against the skin. Ah, I know what twitching means. Ah, okay. Holy shit, he gasped. Yeah. Twitching and he grinded up against the skin, scraping himself in process. I'm not gonna moan that. Zane, he moaned and whined as the feeling was suddenly gone. By now, precum was leaking from his tip, and Zane licked his lip only inches away. That is so hot, he told the kneeling guy. It'll get better, he was promised, and without warning, Zane took him down his throat. A scream filled the room. The hot, tight confines at Zane's throat made him high. Oh. I got a high. Shake that ass me, shake that ass me. The mascot squeezed around him in discomfort, and Zane pulled back a bit. Chewing. I don't fucking know! How am I supposed to know that? Coughing. Okay, coughing, and then licked a sucked his dick, teeth scraping, tongue circling, cheeks following. Blowjobs. I can. Nope. And Harry was shaking. gazing down at the insanely hot guy between his legs, staring up at him. Black hair was all over the place, messily sticking out in a blink of an eye. His fist was surrounded, tugging. It was always the dumb soft, so fucking gorgeous. He thrust his hips forward, instantly apologizing and pulling back. That's so dirty. Has Zane suddenly asked weakly, and he hummed. I want you to fuck my face and pull my hair. Oh wow. This is so awkward. And pull my everything. What the freak? Everything owns. A blood rushed to his lower region, and he cursed loudly, his eyes flashing angrily. Damn you for being perfect, he responded, and was met by a grin. So he guided his boyfriend's mouth back to his dick and forced him onto it. They moaned approvingly and held still as he slowly began to rock forward into the tight heat. He felt himself hit the back of the throat and groaned. His hands found the black mop and pulled Zane's face even more against his crotch. A muffled grunt was heard, but Zane swallowed him, and that was too much. He began jerking his little hips forward, snapping them into the stubbles, his entire cock now down the hottie's throat. Zane sank his nails into his butt cheeks, triggering a deep shout. And next thing he knew, 2 fingers pushed into his hole, straight into his prostate, and he lost himself. With another 2 rams of Zane's fingers and the squeeze of his throat, Harry came yelling the other's name. The boy swallowed, pulled out his finger and gently pulled away as Harry released his grip on Zane's head. He felt his knees give way, and his boyfriend shot him mid-floor, gently maneuvering him to the bed and laying him down. His eyes watched Zane peel off his own treadle and crawl onto the bed. Give me a minute, he panted and relaxed when Zane went to kissing him. For a couple of seconds his eyelids closed and he waited for his breath to return even. When his emerald eyes opened again, they met Howard all staring at him with depth. You're so gorgeous, he stated, beaming, and the older lad blushed a bit. Zane noticed him gazing at his stars, and when his gaze traced the black haired chest and landed on the tent in his breast. You're hard for me, baby, he asked, placing his hand onto the stiffness, and Zane shivered. Sorry, but why are you all so sick? That's so dirty. Yes. Yes. So hard. Zane poured, licking his ear shell, and he choked out a moan. Harry let his hands around his boyfriend's chest and stomach, dunno. In a swift movement, Zane rode on top of him, crashing their lips together. Tongues fouled, bodies rocked. Are you still recording? Yeah. Crashing their lips together. Tongues fouled, bodies rocked. His hand found the erect cock again and began jerking. So hot like this, he moved. What the fuck? Moved. Or so. Don't know. And felt himself become aroused again. Turn over, Zane suddenly demanded, and Harry questioned, What? Turn the fuck over, Harry. He stopped his movements and looked into his lover's face just to make sure he had understood him correctly. Flipping over onto his stomach, he arched his neck so he could look at Zane, removing his briefs and pulling out lube and a condom out of his bag. Zane, shut up, I'm going to fuck you like this. He heard him spit and shuddered, insanely turned on by the sudden change of mood. Is that so? He teased, and the slap landed on his mouth. You won't be able to see me like this, Zane continued, rolling the protection on and lubing up his fingers and dick. He began but cut himself off as 3 fingers thrust inside of him. Harry yapped a bit at the stretch, but it soon turned into moaning, and he was rocking himself back onto his boyfriend's digits. Please don't tell me you're doing this too. just the fact that I... Oh! An arm wrapped around his waist and pulled him to his knees into an upright position. Raw lips attached to his shoulder blade, exploring, claiming, biting as he searched for Harry's prostate canal. His cries signaled that he had found it. Before you could even blink, Zane had pulled out his fingers and lined his erection. You don't see my hair, my face, anything. I'm just going to make you feel all of me. Zane promised and slowly eased himself into him. Harry's jaw dropped open and a long, sweet moan escaped his mouth. Oh, that sounds so cute. Zane's grip on him tightened and he held him against his body, burying himself completely inside of him. Move! Harry croaked and felt the lad retreat a bit before thrusting back inside mercilessly. The force made him land on his hands, his hips being gripped and hauled back. Oh, fuck! Sorry, I can't scream. Oh, fuck, he screamed, the angel allowing pounding against his G-spot. A dark growl informed him. What's a G-spot? I'm gonna Google that later. A dark growl informed him that Zane was enjoying this just as much as he was. The hands were digging into his waist. Breasts were surely forming, but the hands were digging into his waist. Breasts were surely forming, but the way his large dick rammed into him was making up for everything. Do you like this ass? He poured in response in Zane's snoot. Such a hair-crazy stud sometimes. So good. He moaned and began clenching around the other bloke. Zane picked up the pace, inviting Harry to grind back into him, and the thrust made Harry's arms give in, and he smacked onto his elbows, desperately trying to hold himself upright. He arched back, knowing this would give his pleaser a different sensation. I'm so disgusted right now. God, Harry, the deep voice groaned, and God, Harry! What the fuck? God, Harry, the deep voice groaned, and he felt himself nearing his climax. See, another... Zane, another, and grabbed his level 1, intertwining the fingers for more stability. He felt Zane's whole body rub against it as he turned his head. Immediately, his lips were short in a sloppy kiss, Zane's second hand wrapping around his erection and tugging in sync with his thrust. Harry gasped and suddenly came in hot spurs all over Zane's hand while breaking from his lips to chant his name. His boyfriend hid his face in his neck and cried his name as he released into Harry, the clenching pushing him off the ledge, despite Zane's efforts to keep them up. They collapsed onto the bed, Harry's face disappearing in the pillow. Jesus, that was amazing! Harry sighed. Oh, Jesus. That was amazing. Harry sighed, feeling as Zane gently pulled out of him. Yeah, he rolled onto his side to admire the hottie lying next to him. A smile stretched over his face, not believing his luck. What? Zane asked him while running his fingers through his black hair. Nothing, you're just beautiful, he stated, scooting a bit closer. Oh, don't be all sappy now, please. But the beam betrayed him, and Harry's smile widened. You know I love you because of you, right? His fingers started, tracing the contoured chest. So you don't love me because of my dick? Zane challenged. Harry raised his green orbs to stare at Malik's eyes. Of course I love you because of that, but I do still love you even if you were bad. If you didn't have a cock, well then that would be a shame. He broke off laughing and his boyfriend joined him. So, are you having me shaved tomorrow? Yeah, I like that. He played kissing. I love you. Ah, I love you. Zane told him and he showed off his dimples. I love you too, Harry responded and nestled his face into the crop of Zane's neck, inhaling the faint scent of cologne, smoke, and the unique smile of just Zane. An arm wrapped around his waist and he was pulled half onto the body beneath him, his legs tangling with his lovers as they drifted off to sleep. Okay, let's say like that. The story is fucking dirty. So is my mind. So are my images. But that's so fucking cute. So cute. Cute, cute, cute. But I know my pronunciation isn't the best, so don't judge me. I'm more of a writer, not a talker. So, well, I'm gonna post the link as well if you wanna read it yourself. Those are 2 parts. And yeah. Let's just say it like that, I guess. Yeah, bye.